Today, we are breaking down one of the most talked about moments in Gilmore Girls history. Rory kissing Jess while at Sookie's wedding and while she's still dating Dean. Rory's relationship with Jess can be considered cheating, micro-cheating, or emotional cheating, but it's not so much the labels I want to focus on today, it's more so the psychology behind those behaviors. I'm going to focus on what was happening internally for Rory, what was happening relationally, and most importantly, how this moment could have gone differently in a healthier relationship dynamic. My name's Heather, I'm a registered professional counselor and a huge fan of Gilmore Girls, so let's dive in. Rory is at Sookie's wedding and she sees Jess.
What are you doing here?
Hello to you too.
Is everything okay?
You look nice.
Thank you.
And she goes up to him, she's asking him if everything's okay, which shows that there's that emotional connection and care that she has towards him.
What?
Then move back.
But what? Why?
Just wanted to.
Now, at this point, she hasn't seen him since she ditched school and went all the way to New York to see him, and they spent the day together. You can see that she's overwhelmed when he tells her that he's moving back to Stars Hollow, because that means that she has to face her feelings for him, and it would have been easier to ignore it, to avoid it, and to not deal with it if he stayed in New York. But now that he's coming back, all those feelings that she has for him is essentially coming to the surface.
Oh my God.
And due to her feelings and emotions that she has towards him, plus the help of teenage hormones, she actually ends up kissing him.
Rory.
Don't say a word.
Okay.
I have to go.
Followed quickly by realizing that what she did was wrong and telling him not to say anything, not to say a word, and then proceeds to run away. Shortly after that, she decides she's going to spend the summer in Washington. Now, on the surface, it looks like Rory is someone who accidentally kisses the new exciting guy that she has feelings for. But emotionally, she's caught between two very different connection styles. Dean, who is safe, predictable, and Jess, who is intense, exciting, and stimulating to Rory. Let me know in the comments who you would choose. Are you Team Dean or Team Jess? And this is based on emotional maturity, not romance or hotness. Now, throughout the season, we see that Rory is drawn to Jess, not because he's new, but because he mirrors back parts of herself that she hasn't experienced with Dean. This includes things such as independence, intellectual tension, and emotional complexity. So that kiss, yeah, it's not random. It's the tip of the iceberg of unresolved emotional energy. In psychology, we would call this avoidant conflict resolution, meaning that the person avoids necessary conversations and is acting out of feelings instead, which is why after the kiss, she decided that she was going to go to Washington for the summer, even though throughout the episode we see that she was debating back and forth whether or not she wanted to go. Was Rory cheating, micro-cheating, or was it something else? Let's define it. Cheating, pretty self-explanatory. It's the breaking of trust between two people in a relationship where they already have an agreement. Micro-cheating is a little harder to define, but basically it's small behaviors that violate the spirit of emotional monogamy. Some examples of micro-cheating can be interacting with an ex that makes you uncomfortable, flirtatious or sexually charged interactions, failing to clarify that you're in a committed relationship, encouraging or accepting romantic attention, secret communication that your partner doesn't know about, giving or receiving intimate gifts or money, confiding emotionally in someone outside of the relationship, joining and being active on a dating app. Now, given the subjective nature of micro-cheating, it's important to note that what might be considered as cheating for someone else may be deemed acceptable to another person. This is why having serious conversations with your partner is important. Now, let's take a look at some of Rory's behaviors in the show that might be considered micro-cheating. She was hiding her interactions with Jess, prioritizing someone else over your partner, becoming defensive when asked about that person, sudden unexplained changes in behavior. Microcheating is often the unspoken truth, not being able to communicate your attraction, confusion, or dissatisfaction in the relationship until something blows up. So why didn't Rory talk to Dean? A lot of fans might call Rory selfish or cowardly for not breaking up with Dean if she realized that she was having feelings for Jess. But from a therapeutic perspective, her behavior is actually pretty common, especially for teenagers and young adults with very little conflict management experience. So let's take a look at her psychological struggles underneath her silence. The first thing, avoidance of conflict, a Gilmore family specialty. Lorelai does this, Rory does this, it's almost intergenerational. Rory hates making people unhappy, especially Dean, who absolutely adores her. Her conflict avoidant behavior looks like minimizing her feelings, pretending that she's not attracted to Jess, overcompensating to reassure Dean, and staying silent instead of having those difficult conversations. And when you avoid conflict long enough, your choices eventually create a bigger conflict for you. Conflict triggers feelings of guilt and anxiety, so Rory will choose harmony over honesty every time. To her, she worries that admitting that she has feelings for someone else or being able to say or verbalize it is going to set off a bomb. Secondly, fear of hurting people. Rory has a deep need to be a good person, not just morally, but relationally. She'll take on discomfort herself if it prevents someone else from getting hurt, even though delaying honesty actually causes more pain later. For someone like Rory, hurting someone feels like an identity violation. She might be thinking, I'm not that kind of person that breaks hearts. So she avoids the truth until she has no choice but to face it. Have you ever had a Rory moment where you knew you should have spoken up about something, but instead you stayed silent? How did it play out? Share in the comments below. The third thing is the good girl image. Rory has always been the good kid. That identity has been so well established that she doesn't know what to do when she experiences feelings that conflict with that image. Rory's entire identity has been around her being responsible, considerate, academically excellent, emotionally and morally reliable. And that identity, that image that she has for herself is reinforced by Lorelai, the citizens of Stars Hollow, and her school. Admitting that she has feelings for Jess will shatter the image that everyone has of her, and it doesn't help that no one really likes Jess. So instead of admitting that I'm having feelings for someone else, her brain goes into, don't think about it, don't deal with it. The fourth thing is emotional inexperience. Dean is Rory's first boyfriend, and they have some relational conflict, but not a whole lot. She also has a mother who shields her from consequences. Rory doesn't yet have the tools for managing competing desires, ending relationships kindly, boundary setting skills, or any practice articulating confusing emotions. So she does what a lot of inexperienced people do. She lets things happen instead of being proactive. In other words, her emotional development hasn't caught up with her romantic circumstances. And lastly, she has a low tolerance for relational discomfort. Some people can sit with hard conversations. Rory can't. Common signs include changing the subject, physically leaving, going quiet, telling half-truths, or hoping that the conflict will resolve itself. And we see this when she kisses Jess, panics, and then runs away. Instead of acknowledging it, clarifying with Jess what's going on, talking to Dean, and taking ownership of what happened. And I want to be clear that this isn't Rory being malice. This is a flight response. Let's talk about what healthy communication could have looked like. Here are some functional alternatives that could have prevented what happened, or at the very least caused less pain. An example of what Rory could have told Dean before the kiss, or when she realized she was having feelings for Jess. I need to talk to you about something uncomfortable. I've been feeling confused, especially with my feelings when I'm around Jess. I don't want to hide it because our relationship matters to me, and I'm not saying that I want anything to happen with him. I just want to be honest. An example of what she could have told Jess. I enjoy spending time with you. but I'm in a relationship. If we're going to continue hanging out, we need to have some boundaries. And here's an example of what Rory could have said to Jess immediately after the kiss, instead of telling him not to say a word and then running away. Jess, I'm sorry, that wasn't fair to you or for Dean. I need to talk to him before anything else happens. Please give me space to figure this out. Some final thoughts. Rory isn't a villain. She's young, she's inexperienced, and she's conflict avoidant. And honestly, I'm sure most of us were like that when we were 17. Now again, that doesn't excuse cheating or justify it in any way. Obviously, cheating is wrong. This video is to help us understand the psychology behind this behavior and what was going on for Rory, which again is a very common thing that happens to a lot of people. And we need to remember that that kiss was less about morality and more about the unspoken needs, the emotional tension, and the cost of avoiding hard conversations. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below to let me know what other Gilmore Girls scenes you want me to analyze. Take good care, and I'll see you in the next one.